Hello and welcome to another library book review video. In this video I have a stack of 10 library books and I'm going to be going through all of them, starting with my very favorite and working my way down. My favorite book this week was Toni Morrison's Peeny, Butter, Fudge. She wrote this in collaboration with Slade Morrison, and this book is about a grandma who gets a list of instructions from her daughter about what to do with the grandkids all day. And she has an absolute blast making this list her own and just doing so many fun games. It just sounds like such a magical day that the kids get to have with their grandmother. The illustrations bring all of these adventures to life, and I just love the illustrations. I love the cadence and rhythm of the words as well. You can sing it or you can just read it, but either way it kept my 6-month-old baby engaged both times that I read the book to her. And at the end of the day, Grandma wants to do just one more thing that wasn't at all included on the list, and that is to bake a special recipe of peanut butter fudge. So she starts baking this with her grandkids, and when Mom comes home, the kitchen is a total mess, but the only thing that the mom really notices is that smell that she remembers from when she was a kid and her mom used to bake this with her. And so that page just really hit me, and that's the page that's just made me absolutely love this book. So I'll read you the last page. Give me a kiss, give me a hug, peeny butter, peeny butter, peeny butter fudge. And there is a recipe for peanut butter fudge on the back page of the book too, if you have time to make that. Next up this week is Bridget's Beret. This is a really cute story about a girl who likes to draw and paint, and she always does her art with a beret, just like a professional artist. And she cannot really imagine how she could possibly be successful without her beret, which becomes a problem one day when the beret blows away and she is unable to retrieve it. So she basically just stops doing art. I mean, she tries on other hats, but none of them work for her. And so she kind of gives up until one day her friends ask her if she could help them with a lemonade stand sign. And she can't help but notice that, you know, she can make this a little bit more creative if she turns the O into a lemon. And then she just keeps adding a little bit more detail piece by piece until she makes a really cute sign for the lemonade stand. Then she goes and makes other signs, and basically she gets her flair for art back, and she realizes she can make art whether or not she has a beret. And at the end of the book, I love this bit too. The dog brings back her beret. The dog somehow found it. So I thought that was a good story with a good message about, I guess, believing in yourself and believing in your own talents, and knowing that there's no special magical condition that you need in order to be talented or in order to create something. Next, I have Bedtime for Bo. I liked this story for just the creativity of these illustrations and the concept. It's about a little kid, and the mom is trying to get this kid to go to bed. The kid just imagines himself as animals constantly. And so he says, you know, Bo stands on one leg. I'm already asleep. What do you mean? Asks Mommy. I'm a parrot, says Bo. And then he turns into a parrot on the next page. This is how a parrot sleeps, like I'm standing now, on one leg. So it does, says Mommy. It tucks one foot under its feathers so it won't get cold toes. And so the mom just sort of plays along with the kid, regardless of what the kid is imagining. These illustrations are a little bit hard for me to read, but I think if you look at them, you can see what's going on page by page, and maybe that's part of the fun, is looking closely in these illustrations to see what's going on and to also notice these other details. One thing I noticed is that this kid, like all around his room, everything is animals everywhere. So it almost becomes hard to see what animal he is turning into, given that his whole room is filled with animals. The mom eventually puts him to bed by helping him imagine that he is sleeping with a pack of meerkats. So it says, "Now you're a mob of meerkats," says Mommy. "You sleep all snuggled up over and under each other. That's how you keep yourselves warm." Bo rubs his eyes and yawns again. He feels so tired. And you see what I mean about the room absolutely filled with all these stuffed animals and animal wallpaper and stuff. So I really enjoyed the illustrations and just the concept of that book. Next I have a book called Not So Small. I love the message of this book. It's really a message to the next generation, and I think a message to adults and anyone reading it, that you shouldn't feel small even if you are speaking out against big things and big forces. So I'll read a couple pages. Big things get noticed. Tall buildings, loud voices, wide walls. Next to them, some people feel small. Like puffs of dandelion fuzz, not needed or known, barely seen. But remember, one acorn grows an oak, one pebble sends out a ripple, one snowflake starts a storm, and dandelion fuzz can cause a big sneeze. So anyway, the message of the book is that, big things start small. So sometimes it's just one person going out to protest something that is unjust. Sometimes it's one person writing letters, writing emails, contacting their representatives, and so on. It gets specific about what those political acts are that can move things over time. And it also shows that, there can be hope, because movements happen over time as people get together, and, you have one voice and another coming together to form a chorus of voices. And I think this is a message that's really important to me. I think it's a great message to pass on to kids, and a great message to remind yourself of as an adult as well. So that book is Not So Small. Next I have My Home is in My Backpack. This is a book about the Venezuela immigration experience, and I've read another book that has the exact same theme. So I didn't know that this theme was getting published in so many different books, which I guess is a good thing. But I would say it still is a really good one. Like this book has such beautiful illustrations, and it's written really well, really elegantly. But basically the concept of it is that your home isn't just, a house or an apartment. Your home is the things that you carry with you, the people you carry with you, the memories. It's your favorite things to do. It's your friends. And so it's kind of this encouraging message to immigrants or to any children who don't have a traditional home, to remember that you still have something that surrounds you and can fill you with warmth, even if it has to be inside your own heart or inside your backpack. So I'll show you another page, and I'll read to you this page as well. I think my special home is my family, Coco, drawing and thinking about my best memories. Coco is the dog, by the way. So I think my special home is my family, Coco, drawing and thinking about my best memories. Everyone's special home is different, says Mama. If you look carefully, you can see them lighting up the darkness. I decide to ask our friends what they love doing and draw their answers in my notebook. First, I visit Juan. He loves singing while his papa plays the guitar. To me, their song sounds like flowers blooming in the moonlight. Join us, Clara, they say. You must know the words. I sing along. The happy song brings back warm memories. And they go around to other friends and learn what they carry with them in their heart or in their backpack. Next up I have Hello Moon. Hello Moon is kind of completely different from this. It's just a very simple concept. It's beautifully illustrated. It is about a mom and her son, and the boy points up to the moon and says, should we go say hello? So they go out, they look at the moon, they say, hello moon, and it says, you look so beautiful tonight. It's almost our bedtime, but we'll see you again another night, moon. And you can see different nights passing, And what this book turns into is a story of the phases of the moon and introducing that to kids. So after the kid says, "Look, the moon, part of it is gone," the mom says, "Don't worry, sweetheart, it's not gone. It's just hiding its face a little. Over the next 2 weeks, the moon hides more and more until it looks like it disappears completely. We call that the new moon." So it has that kind of rhythm as the mom is talking back and forth to the kid, and you're just seeing these beautiful illustrations of them looking at the moon and the moon changing phases. Really cute book to introduce your kid to that. Hello Moon. Next I have Gibberish by Young Vo, and this book is about a kid who comes to school and he feels very different from his classmates. You can see he's in color, and everything and everyone just feels so foreign to him. He feels like everyone is speaking gibberish, and that is out there in the illustrations for you to really feel alongside him. Eventually though, he makes a friend, and the friend initially looks like everyone else, these weird black and white cartoon characters. But as they begin to play, some of her words start turning into recognizable words. And she starts coming into color, as you can see here. And increasingly, she gets into full color. And by the end of the book, this kid is speaking English, and he's got a friend, and he's starting to really thrive in his new community. I'll read you the last page. Dat flew on a plane, Dat sailed on a boat, Dat rode on a school bus, and today Dat ran home with Julie. So that page made me smile. It's a really nice book. That book was Gibberish. Next up I have Mouse's First Day, Mouse's First Day of School. And this book is a really cute one to read to little kids. It introduces them to things like colors, shapes, numbers. So one bright morning, Mouse found a hiding place that took him to a brand new space. Down on the floor, Mouse found 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And you can point to the blocks, you can point out the colors of the blocks. And I would just encourage you, if you get a book like this, like really try to have fun with these pages. The page that was easiest for me to have fun with was this page with a drum. But I mean, there's a lot of books, a lot of pages in this book that have similar effects. So clang, bang, stir, pots. Kind of introduce your kid to this idea of pots. I wanted to show you the drum page because my kid was having so much fun when I read this page to her that I just read her the same page over and over again, and she just started smiling and laughing and giggling. So thump, boom, bump a drum, thump, boom, bump a drum. And I did it even more enthusiastically with her. But try to have fun with this book, and I think it's a great one for just reading to little ones. Mouse's First Day of School. I have 2 books left in the stack. One is Sister Friend, and this book is very cute. It is a story about a Muslim girl who goes to school. She feels very alone, and she sees another girl who she thinks might be like her. And then one day she realizes, and she says to her, "You're Muslim." And the other girl feels like, she's being accused of something. And so she kind of shirks back and hides away a bit. And then these girls have to, by the end of the book, come together, basically. And once they both realize that they're both Muslim and that's okay, then they form a friendship around that. So I thought this story had a really, really nice message. My one criticism of it is that I think these illustrations can be hard for a little kid to understand. And I think the way that I kind of know that may be an issue is that both times I read this book to my daughter, she started crying in the middle of it. So I think that maybe the storytelling didn't have like enough rhythm or little voices for me to do or things like that for a little kid. Or it might have to do with the illustrations like not being clear enough for her to be able to like look at and engage with. But that's kind of a personal judgment, and it may work really well for a kid in a different age group. But I really like the message of this book, and I loved this story of two girls finding friendship together and knowing that it's okay to be muscle. I have one story left for you, and that is Born from the Heart. This is the story of a mom who adopts a daughter or a son, and basically it's about these two parents, and they are wanting to have a kid. They go to a doctor, they do what the doctor tells them to do, and then sort of strangely they go on this trip. They go on this trip to a village, and then they go on this journey, this boat ride, this donkey ride, and they find a baby and bring it home. And so I'm showing you some of the illustrations so you can get an idea of the book. So here's what I would say about this. For me, it felt a little too abstract. I would have preferred a book based on the author's own story, which she shares on the last page of the book. I guess I would have preferred a story that's just a little bit more truthful, or a little bit more accurate about what does it actually look like when parents adopt a kid. Like what is that journey bit by bit by bit? And I know that the author wanted to tell the emotional truth of that journey rather than the literal truth of that journey. I would have preferred something more literal, and I think that comes down to a personal preference that I don't want my kid to be like super confused about some things or how they work. So I just would have preferred to just tell the story in a more literal terms to my kid. But that's a personal preference, and in any case, I think that all these books give you something valuable to read to your kids. I hope that if you take away anything this week, go get Peanut Butter Fudge. Absolutely amazing book. You can tell it's written by one of the greatest novelists of our generation, Toni Morrison, and Slade Morrison. This is totally worth your time too, Bridget's Beret. And if you do have time, Bedtime for Beau. It's a really cute book to read to your kid before bedtime. And any of the others too that you want to get. I think your kid probably benefits just from the more that you read to them. So if you enjoyed this set of book reviews, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.